Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, and thanks for continuing on. A little topic we've had. This has been boiling away for a little while now since Caleb Ewan departed from the Giro d'Italia, as we expected him to do, and it is, are the sprinters disrespecting the Giro d'Italia, the race, by abandoning early when there's no real reason for them to abandon? Now, Ewan suffered from knee pain allegedly, but we expected him to abandon regardless before the third week. He abandoned a little bit earlier than I expected, whilst wearing the Ciclamino jersey, citing knee pain. But let's assume, regardless of the knee pain, he was going to abandon. That's what I believe, and I think they even said that was probably going to happen, so he could prepare for the Tour. We also had Groenewegen and Dekker abandon after, was it the rest day, Benji, or a couple of days ago? And today, this morning, Giacomo Nizzolo winning his first Giro d'Italia stage win the other day, the Italian in the European Champs jersey, retiring from the Giro. He said, I came to the race in good condition. It's been an incredible Giro. We won a stage. I'll treasure the memory for the rest of my life. And what's his excuse? He doesn't really say. I think he just says, oh, here we go. He's been struggling on the climbs, so he's just going to stop to look forward to the future. So he was pretty open about, yeah, can't be fucked. And I think Groenewegen and Dekker as well, something similar. And yeah, why are they retiring, Benji? We don't see it as much in the Tour. What's contributing? What are the reasons for all these retirements?
Well, looking at the overall parkour of this Giro, we see that the parkour is very backloaded when it comes to climbs in the last portion of the race. We don't have a sprinters stage in the last, honestly, 7, 8, something like that. I think stage 13 is the real last sprint stage we had in this Giro, which means that after stage 13, those sprinters are just there surviving till the end. What's the point in them just hanging at the back in the Gruppetto every single day? Yeah, that's why these riders
There's no
are...
Champs-Élysées.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like the Tour. You don't have Champs-Élysées at the end. You don't have Madrid in the Vuelta for another opportunity for a stage win for a sprinter that has not gotten a stage win yet. So in the end, that is, I think, the main reason that we see that a lot of sprinters are getting out of the race early on. Now, with Ewan, indeed, we knew that he was going to leave the race at a certain point. But people are still mad that he did it. And even the fact that he says he has knee pain and so forth, there's a chance that that is true. We don't know that. Honestly, I'm not 100% believing it, but that's just my personal take. And yeah, you can disagree with me on that. But what I found pretty funny to read was when Eddy Merckx started talking about it, I think a few days or the same day even, he said, and I quote, I think his abandonment is a total lack of professionalism and a lack of respect for the Giro and cycling. And he also added to that it bothers him a lot and that he should receive sanctions, take away premiums, for example. And I found this pretty cynical. When I think about Eddy Merckx, he was a wonderful cyclist for Belgium, obviously one of the best we had. But he also disrespected races in the past. He's not the one to talk about disrespecting races. In 1961, I think he was leading the Giro.
69.
69, yeah, correct. He was leading the Giro, and he ended up testing positive twice on, I think, amphetamine during one of these stages. And while he was sleeping, he eventually was, I think, banned from cycling for a month, which...
And kicked out of the Giro. Whilst wearing the leader's jersey. Whilst wearing the Maglia Rosa. Kicked out of the race for testing positive for a banned stimulant. So that's, I'd say, more disrespectful of the race. And I guess, I know Benji and I don't really subscribe to this view, but there's a general view that pervades cycling, which is doping is only bad after 1995. Doping before 1995, it's okay. You can still come to the races, etc., still be a hero, which Benji and I don't really understand that personally, but it is what it is. So we both, I think, don't agree. I don't agree with Eddy Merckx' comments. I think here's the reality. If you force the sprinters to finish the Giro, I'll tell you what's going to happen. And this is not what RCS wants. Caleb Ewan doesn't turn up. Sagan doesn't turn up if he's not feeling 100%. He doesn't get the opportunity to pull out. Nizzolo, you weaken the sprint field completely because you know where they want to go? The Tour de France. Caleb Ewan, I'm not saying he's doing a favour to the Giro because he's won 2 stages, but his priority, the Tour is more important than the Giro. RCS know that. Everyone knows that. The riders and teams definitely know that. And if he is not able to go back and now prepare for the Tour, that's what presumably Nizzolo is now doing, who just pulled out, then they'll just focus on the Tour de France. And this is not a new thing. Cipollini did this. What are the statistics about Cipollini in Grand Tours, Benji? He finished like 0 tours or something?
Yeah, he finished 0 of his Tour de France's. I think one of them was an out-of-time limit, but around 6 or 7 he ended up not starting or not finishing stages in between stage 8 and stage 12. So when in the past, the flat stages were still a lot at the start, but we also had at the end that eventual Champs-Élysées stage. Still, he decided to not finish that, and it wasn't because he was injured in every single one of them. No, he just left because most of the opportunities to sprint for him were gone. He did that in the Vuelta as well. In the Vuelta, he also didn't finish a single one of his Vueltas, I think 4 or 5 from the top of my head. And eventually, when it comes to the Giro, he ended up, I think, finishing 6 of the 14, 13, something like that. So it's not a new thing. It's been done for ages, and everybody pretends like it's suddenly something that popped up out of just nothing. Oh, people are now suddenly leaving the race because they don't have opportunities from this point on. Nah, that's not how it works. Like, I don't get it. And it wasn't only Eddy Merckx.
Would you enjoy the Giro more? Would you enjoy the Giro more, Benji, if you saw Caleb Ewan fighting the time limit for the rest of week 3 without, if he's got no chance of Ciclamino?
Nah, Ciclamino doesn't bother him at all. Like, I don't care at all what he does after the sprint stage. I wanted to see him sprint, and that's it. I don't care what he does on the mountain stage. If he leaves, that's good. People were saying, "Oh, take away his stages." Nah, like that's just not. That's the same. Like, then you're basically going to force them to make an excuse for why a rider is leaving. Would you want the teams to just lie to you about it? I'd much rather have you and just tell me, "Yeah, I'm leaving after that stage roughly because, well, I've got no opportunities after the stage." And I think that a few of the riders you mentioned, for example, like Groenewegen and Dekker, they've said, yeah, the opportunities are done and we're looking at the next goals in our season, stuff like that. And I think that this disrespecting the race unwritten rule thing is so every single time. It depends on which riders the people support that are saying it. And next to that, there's just, I don't know, it's just such a traditional view. It was also the son of Eddy Merckx as well, Axel Merckx, who said similar things like leaving without real proof of knee pain, his lack of respect towards the Giro. What does he have to do? Does he need to get a third-party doctor to come in the morning that he's going to step out of the race? Yeah, look at my leg, please. Or in the middle of the race, because he decided to do it in the middle of the race. Does the medical doctor of the race need to do an MRI scan, whatever a scan that is, to see if there's like something going on in your leg? I don't know.
His knee probably did hurt. And he's like, holy shit, I don't want to ride on this on like Montalcino, etc. when I've got the Tour de France coming up and make this worse. And maybe it's something that does flare up. Like, I'm sure that's actually something that is certainly possible. And I'm just surprised there's that much furor about it because it seems perfectly logical to me. And as I said, if you complain about this too much, the result, what is going to happen is you will have a higher concentration of sprinters going to just the Tour, and you won't see them in week 1 of other Grand Tours and other stage races if you're going to be like this. And that's just like, then maybe you prefer it. Maybe you'll say, okay, only the people like Davide Cimolai or whoever who climb better deserve to win those sprints. I don't really see it that way. I think I prefer seeing the best sprinters. And yeah, any last thoughts on this, Benji, on the disrespecting the race? I mean, if you want to solve it, there's simple ways to solve it. Even out the parkour a bit more, which has been a problem at the Giro, and it'll probably be a separate topic for us. Even don't have it so backloaded, and provide a big, juicy carrot for the sprinters at the end of the race, or smatter out the sprint stages. But if you're going to have 8 of the last stages, give them no chance, what are they going to do?
I want to say and respond to one thing, and that's that Caleb Ewan actually responded to Eddy Merckx, and he said that he was more disappointed than anyone that he had to pull out of the race, for example, and that it wasn't to have a lack of professionalism, and he felt sorry for the people that he disrespected, but he shouldn't have to say sorry for stuff like this. Like, it's so annoying.
I reckon Nizzolo, he got his stage win. His was even more obvious, and I haven't really seen much criticism of Giacomo Nizzolo. And he's Italian. He was even the Italian national champion, isn't he, Benji? So, like, I'd say he's almost, if anyone's disrespecting the race, it would more so be him. But anyway, we think all the riders are entitled to do what they want. Let us know down below. A bit of a hot topic. It's been bubbling away throughout the Giro d'Italia. We might see it later on in the Vuelta because we'll see Caleb Ewan going there. He wants one stage win in each of the Grand Tours this year. And can't wait to see if he is able to do that. But otherwise, we'll continue on to the next topic. We'll see you later if you're watching on YouTube. Ciao.